where today we'll be discussing the latest news in the pop culture sphere, including how fans responded to the latest DC Studios streaming show. We've got Spider-Man's dramas. Tom Holland say no, but what? Doomsday who? I think there was an error on the teleprompter there. Also coming up later in the show, X-Men. We think we know when that movie's coming out. That's quite exciting information, so we'll go over that and speculate about what it means. All of that and more on today's episode of The Den of Nerds Live. Somebody fix the teleprompter! Anyways, what's up? How's everybody doing? It's Friday, man. Yo. Chat, we made it. Made it through the week. Made it through the week. How's everybody doing, man? How'd the week treat you guys? Huh? Friday, Friday, Friday. And then do you have any exciting plans for the weekend? Gunn peaked in Guardians 1. Wow, that's a take. That's a hot take right out the gate. And that rhymed. LOL. I swear, sometimes I'm like, how the hell does Gunn keep going along with his humor? And yeah. Oh, don't worry. We're going to talk about Peacemaker. It's so funny for me, man. You know, it's so funny for me to because I saw some of the reaction last night to Peacemaker, and then of course I saw a lot of it this morning. And I don't know. Christmas came early. What can I say? You know, like it's. You know, I was thinking about this morning because I better say this quick before people get in here because everybody's going to get all mad if I say this. We're going to have to be professional later, you know? We got to be professional. We got to try to take it all seriously. But before anybody gets in here, let me just say this. So, man, there's some really good stuff going on with me behind the scenes. And I was reminded of this thing that Phil Ivey used to say. Do you guys know who Phil Ivey is? Anybody? Benjamin, 29 months, says, happy Friday, Josh. Lose the shirt. What the fuck? Shalami Leaner says, the finale was so boring, I stopped halfway through the episode. Damn. Okay, damn. Do you guys know? Yeah, poker dude. Yeah, he's a poker player. Professional gambler, poker player. So, Phil Ivey used to say that, because, you know, he's a professional gambler. If he would sit down at a poker table and a guy was on a hot streak, like a guy was winning, like a guy seemed like he was having a lucky night, he would immediately get up and walk away. But if a guy was on a losing streak, he would sit there and play with him all night. You know what I mean? And it's just, I don't know. For some reason, I was thinking of that quote because, like, I feel like I'm on a winning streak right now. Stuff that I can't even necessarily talk about just yet. But things are going well. And then to wake up to wake up to the Peacemaker finale being literally so bad that you have James Gunn fans talking about, like, restoring the Snyderverse. Now, a bit of tongue-in-cheek there, probably some joking around, but also, like, legitimately a terrible fucking reaction to Peacemaker finale. It's actually a thing. We are going to talk about it. It's crazy, the reaction to the finale. Okay? And I just can't help it. It just feels right. It feels right. It feels right on cue. I can't stop winning. And I'm going to be really shitty about it today. And, yeah, it's just incredible. There's just so much goodness in this world. You know what I mean? If you can just be open to it. Yeah. Mr. Penguin says with a 10 spot, Peacemaker season 2 was like a 6 out of 10. Wish they focused more on Earth X and Gunn overhyped the final episode. Also found it funny the main cameo was the band that plays the intro music. Wow. That's even worse than I could have imagined. Holy shit. My God. Oh, man. I mean, this dude just keeps showing everybody exactly who he is. which is, I mean, we'll see if that's a good strategy or not. Jeff Wilkie says, unexpected day off means extra happy Friday stream. Smoke him if you got him. Let's go. No Avengers for life. Fuck yeah. Look, don't worry. Okay, don't worry. It's not all about Peacemaker. It's not all about James Gunn. And it's also not all negative today. Everybody calm down. Okay, I can feel some of you guys out there are clenching, and it's like, relax. Holy shit. We are going to talk a lot of shit on James Gunn, though. I have several notes here. Then we're going to actually talk a little positively about the DCU, because there is some stuff going on that's maybe potentially teasing Darkseid, Salvation Run, New Frontier, really interesting stuff there. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk to Spider-Man. Spider-Man's. Tom Holland. Is he in Doomsday? Is he not? Toby's in there or not? What's going on? What the fuck? Spider-Man. And then X-Men. Oh my God. Jeff Snyder actually dropped something really crazy about the X-Men last night. It's really cool. There's a lot to get into with it, and I'm excited to do that. So we're going to do that. There's potentially even more, guys. There's a lot of shit we could get into today. And also, too, I've been thinking about a stream. I almost did it today. I've been thinking about a stream that we could do together, and I wonder if you guys actually would want to do this or not. Okay, so I'm going to make you an offer. If you guys really want to, and I don't know how to exactly know that. I guess like we would have to just get a bunch of likes on this video or something. Maybe I shouldn't even do it. No, you know what? We don't have to do it. Here's the thing. I'll tell you what it is, but we probably shouldn't do it. It's kind of a shitty. We probably shouldn't do it. We should be good boys. But here's what I was thinking. Ooh. Maybe we could do it for members only. Ooh, that could be exciting. Okay. So here's what it is. Basically, maybe some of you guys have heard me talk about this over the past couple of days, maybe even the past couple of weeks, but there was somebody that hacked into the Scooper Discord, the Discord where all the big scoopers are at. And I knew about this a couple of weeks ago, but I was told not to talk about it because like they wanted to just let it play out. But it's basically all out there now. So maybe you've noticed some people talking about this stuff and, you know, extrapolating from it, some scoops and some stories or whatever. But like, I thought it would be kind of wild if we literally went over every single piece of information that was in this Discord. But it would take hours. Like we'd have to sit there and we'd have to go over and I blur out the names, you know what I mean? Like we blur out the names or whatever. But we could go over every single little piece from that Discord and get really fucking like internet detective on, because here's what's weird about it. Here's the reason that I don't want to do it. It doesn't just, by the way, that wasn't a fart. I didn't just fart on stream loudly. That's my I have a leather chair in my, you hear that? It's not just me I'm not just farting. It's a leather chair and I move. Okay, I farted. Anyway. Here's the issue. If we look too close, maybe we shouldn't stare too close at the sun. You know, because if we look too closely at this, we're going to begin to understand how this scooping thing works a little bit more. And I think, you know, we could look at the relationship between when all this information was on that Discord, and you could see how the actual scoopers, the actual people, disseminate this information and drip it out for us over time to try to get maximum exposure, clicks, and all of that, right? And it might actually break the illusion a bit, and we might like, fuck, so that's what these people are doing? You know what I mean? But at the same time, it is kind of interesting because I think if we were to literally look as closely as possible at the information, the dates technically like start to try to piece the personalities, like, oh, is this scooper, that scooper, or whatever. You could get a crazy good look at how that all actually works. Yeah. So much so that I'm like, I don't even know if we should do that, to be honest. So I don't know. I thought it would be cool. I was gonna do a thumbnail with me in like a black hoodie in front of a screen with like the Matrix on it, and it was gonna be like, I hacked it, all of the scoopers, and then we go over it like in really, really good detail. But I don't know. Maybe that's not a cool thing to do. Emo Nerd Girl says pass. That's because she's one of the scoopers. Like straight up, 100%, one of the scoopers right there. Doesn't want us to do it. That's okay though. Do you have a private leaker contacts inside these corporations? Of course. Absolutely. We have people everywhere, Mr. Bond. Worst part has to be admitting that you're trying to get Deadpool in the show. What? What the fuck? Yeah. That might end badly. Yeah, it's probably not worth it, you know, just getting into it or whatever. But I will say this, it's all out there. You guys can all find it. You can find it if you really want to pay attention. Figure it out. Yeah. Finale was so bad. Now I agree with Josh that Gunn needs to stop yapping on the internet. Isn't that funny? I think there's a lot of that going around today, actually. Which is, again, just it's such a joy to wake up in a world where people are starting to realize that, yeah, I was probably right about Gunn mostly the whole time. And he is exactly who... I mean, it's not just me either. A lot of other people kind of clocked Gunn on his bullshit pretty early on. And I think part of the problem was that he weaponized social media and his platform to try to, like, smash down counter narratives in a way that, like, invigorated a base. And I think he kind of created a monster, and mostly just to kind of, like, obfuscate actual criticism, right? Like, to just deflect away from the actual criticism. But ironically now, a lot of those same people are actually like, they're probably going to turn on him super hard. And if today is any indication of how that could go, yeah, it can go really fucking badly. Because I think, you know, look, we're going to get into it. I have all these notes and I want to keep it succinct, right? I want to keep the shit talking into a nice, succinct 15, 20 minutes. But I'll just say this as a little tease of what we're going to get into. I think the more a reckless, narcissistic fuckface just opens their mouth, just literally opens their mouth, the more that people are going to suss that out. You know what I mean? And all that has to happen is one statement that kind of like runs counter to the things that this person thought maybe like that Gunn was on their side or whatever. So like, for instance, like one of the things I'm predicting right now is I predict that like if this criticism for Peacemaker actually reaches a level to which Gunn feels the need to address it, he will deflect the criticism, and he'll probably deflect it in a way of like, none of this is real. Right? And the problem with that is like, well, it's very difficult for like a bunch of people that are actually rooting for you because you're controlling this thing and making this thing. They're very passionate and they like this thing. If you're just going to turn around and sort of deflect in a way by saying, yeah, none of this shit is real, or like you're getting too butthurt out of its fake fictional characters or whatever. That's going to get a lot of people that were on your side to no longer be on your side, because what you're literally doing is you're attacking their level of investment. You're basically saying you're silly for caring so much about the thing that you care about, the thing that I'm in control about, and are in control of. And I, the thing is, Gunn has literally already done this. He cannot help himself. It's who he is. He is not the right person for the job. You know what I mean? So that's going to become obvious, I think, to more and more people over time. And I also think at the end of the day, we're going to look at other people in spaces and franchises, other people, and we're going to have a more favorable opinion of them, and go a little easier on them comparatively after a few more years of this shit, I think. But that's just my prediction. What would you do in this situation? I don't know what that means. That's a super vague question. If Eagly and Crypto are not, I'm not watching. I don't know what that means either. You guys got to do better. You guys got to wake up, man. That's 2 chats in a row that I read that I cannot understand. This is unacceptable. I will close this window. So Snyder fans were right again, and they said James Gunn was not fit to lead DC. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say. I don't want to make it into a Snyder fan thing. I want to actually critique on the merits what is happening. You know what I mean? But yes, I'm mad. I got kicked out of the queue for Battlefield, and now I'm looking at 4,200,000. My God. How do your favorite X-Men is? God damn it, Chris. That's pretty good. It's pretty good rage bait. Pretty good. Let's try to keep it together a little while longer here. Oh, you know what else? I gotta actually hang on. I gotta do a thing. I gotta do a thing before we go any further here. Those are probably all good there. But. Also, I just want to say too, guys. Just put Trev in your thoughts and in your prayers. I don't want to speak to what's going on there, but Trev reached out to me. He'll tell us if and when he's ready to tell us. But he's got some stuff going on. That's why he hasn't been around. Trev's been a long time member of the community, man. And I give him a lot of shit. And he also enrages me. But he's been very supportive, and he's an awesome dude. He's a good guy. You know, helped me out in some tough spots. So thoughts and prayers out there for Trev. For the community. Okay. Zach says, that's what Gunn has been hyping up this whole time. That shit was almost as bad as Gunn crying like a bitch in his DCU podcast. Restore the Snyderverse. My God. Zach, that's so aggressive. Holy shit. Did Gunn really cry like a little baby back bitch, though? Somebody pull up the clip. I'm not understanding why did they think Gunn was their best option. They gave him too much power and way too much control. Wait a minute. What? Like, seriously. How is this happening? How is this happening? Years later, everybody's seeing what I'm saying. Years later, people are like, you know what? How did this even happen? Yeah, I know. I've been talking about this forever. My God. Riley S says, yo, I put some cool drone photos in the Discord of Corn Harvest since you guys liked the sugar beets last year. Oh, nice. Thanks. That's pretty cool. We'll check it out on the Discord. I did watch Peacemaker season 2, but I'm not going to be too hard on Gunn until he has another movie or 2 out. I got to be honest with you. I feel like Gunn should not do another movie. I'm dead ass. I'll get to that. Actually, that's not even in my notes, but that's something I was thinking about this morning. I was like, and there's actually a reason. It's not like, I don't want to see another Gunn movie. No, like, dude, there's actually parts of the job that you're not doing right. Like, that's what it is. It's not like, oh, I don't want to see it. No, it's like, dude, this thing, look at this thing. This thing is not working. There's parts of this job that you are not doing right. You need to go do the job of president and create a fucking universe. Do not do what, like, this is not actually how you do this, in my opinion. So Peacemaker is in Man of Tomorrow. I know. And doesn't that just make it all feel so small and silly and like Gunn's little misfit band of toys? It's so not what they need. I deadass hope Ellison just fires everybody. I hope he fires Zaslav, Gunn, Safran, fire everybody and start fresh. And by the way, if Supergirl underperforms and like Clayface does like basically nothing, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Deadass. Like, cancel man. And by the way, Gunn is probably going to try to get that movie like greenlit as fast as possible. Like, get this shit. It's like, I got to get to my next movie as fast as fucking possible. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But, yeah. All right, let me take a couple sips of coffee and then we'll get into it, okay? Anyway, before we get into that, you guys got any cool plans for the weekend? Anybody got any cool plans for this weekend? Dude, I'll tell you this. Is Justin in here? I think I saw him in here a little bit ago. So last night, I was playing a little Marvel Rivals. Okay, I fired up the Marvel Rivals. And the game's been making me fucking rage, dude. But also, I've been having issues with my Xbox controller disconnecting from the PC. That's also been raging me out. Like it's already like the game's already fucking raging me out. But then like my controller kept DCing, and that's like even worse. Like it's like a double Dutch. Like I'm gonna fucking lose my mind. Anyway, so I figured last night I was like, you know what I'll do? I'll play a little mouse and key. You know, the controller thing is fucking up, whatever. I'll give it a shot. I'll try some mouse and key, and if it doesn't go well, I'll stop. And I went on a nice little streak last night in mouse and key, dude. I had a nice little streak last night on mouse and key on Marvel Rivals. And so I might even do a little bit more of that this weekend. Might play some today. Daredevil's on there, right? Daredevil comes to Marvel Rivals today. Pretty cool. Yeah, that'll be fun. I actually played tank. My intent was I'll play Black Widow because I kind of like treat Black Widow a little bit like almost like a CS:GO character, right? And you're just shooting in the back. So I was like, I'll give that a shot. But almost immediately I was forced into rolling to tank. So I was like, all right, I'll try Magneto on tank. And after about 3 matches, I started to get a feel for it. And I was like, damn, dude, this game was really designed for mouse and key. Like, I know most games translate well between, but you can feel, like, I really noticed it on Magneto and Thor. And then I actually got to the point where I was even playing Iron Man on mouse and key, and I was like, dude, it's so intuitive. I was like, oh my God. It feels intuitive in the sense of, like, CSGO, really. Which CSGO is, like, very simple. Like, the physics in the sandbox is very simple. But still, like, that same kind of, like, just buttery, like, very easy to pick up. You can flow with it really well. So I might play some more mouse and key Rivals this weekend. Should be fun. Got any cool skins? Oh, I got a lot of cool skins, dude. I kind of went a little too crazy when that game first came out. But, yeah. Smoking a pork belly for tomorrow? And hanging out, playing Commander with the boys? My God, that sounds incredible, dude. You know what we had the other day? We got really good food from like a really fancy restaurant last weekend for our cheat day on our diet. And we got there were these Brussels sprouts that were like seasoned and roasted, and then they had like chunks of pork belly that were like roasted in there as well. Oh my God, bro. That's a magical combination. Like, that shit is crazy. Like, really good roasted, like, you know, some crisp edging Brussels sprouts, and then like nice chunks of pork belly in there with crispy sides too. Oh, goddamn. Woo. Every day is cheat day. Well, not for me because I'm old. Galaxy Geek says, I think I'm give Gunn some time. I liked Superman a lot, and Peacemaker Season 2 was already in the can before he was put in charge. So he had to rework the fit of the new direction, hoping for better. I think that's absolutely a fair take. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you should not be optimistic. I'm not optimistic, though. Genuinely not optimistic. And part of why is because I think the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. And I think you can look at, I think there's just a lot of reasons to, like, look at what Gunn does and assume that what he will do in the future will be very similar, is what I'm saying. And that includes this Peacemaker thing, you know? And, like, really, there has to be a point where people start to realize, like, oh, okay, so just objectively speaking, this guy literally became president, grabbed up all the things he was working on, tried to figure out a way to work them into the canon, became sort of unabated Gunn on a piece of content that was supposed to fit into a 4-quadrant cinematic universe, and really fumbled it. So, like, you could say that you know, he had a really rough task, or like there's all these barriers, of course, and I think the job's hard. But at the end of the day, like, we have to get to a point. I think, anyway, that's just my opinion on this. But my opinion is the discourse would be better when we got to a point where we could more accurately call out what was actually going on. The problem with Gunn is, like, he made it emotional almost right away, and I think it's because he's an emotional guy. And I think when he got canceled publicly and his tweets came out, it was really hard for him. And it was this huge emotional thing. So because of that, he became like petty and emotional, and he became the bully. This is why he bullies me. This is why he bullies Adam B. Very. This is why he bullies various people online. And he made it an emotional thing for people right away, where they felt an emotional like response to try to defend him, to deflect the actual criticism. It's like, I would say, hey, I think saying that you have a 10-year plan the year before 4 different movies come out is a terrible strategy. And then it became this thing where people would say, oh, well, you're just hating, actually. This can totally work. You just hate Gunn. And so therefore, all of the what I think was legitimate criticism gets put into the bucket of Gunn hate, and people got emotional about it. By the way, as the president of the company, as the co-president of the company, it is his responsibility how the communication of what is going on, what the company is doing, and how the company feels about its fans. He takes responsibility for that. So there's like this other layer to it too, where people can't even admit, like, hey, maybe as the fucking front-facing president of this big corporation, this huge, important piece of franchise IP, maybe what he says and then what he doesn't say and the tone he establishes for the entire fucking fan base is actually at least partially on him. But motherfuckers can't even admit that. Do you know what I mean? So, like, although I understand you saying, like, I'm going to give Gunn more time, you're way behind the fucking 8 ball of where I'm at, which is like, actually, I've been giving him time. Actually, he's been president for years. His original contract was up last year. And is it a hard job? Yeah. Because the stakes are high and because people care. So maybe he's just doing a bad job. I don't know. Is that fucking crazy? Is that fucking crazy? Is it too emotional? He's doing a bad job. How about that? Appreciate the comment, though. Sounds like his 10-year-old wasn't good and is tweaked because he was planning Supergirl Sergeant Rock and backtracking on Sergeant Rock. Or maybe it's just really hard to do that job and he's not as good as some people would want him to be at it. Maybe it's just a really hard job. Maybe it's just a really dynamic time in industry. The stakes are super high. And maybe he's not the guy. Oh no! In 5 years from now, do you think we're going to be talking about like the DCU? Real talk, real talk. Now I'm pissed, frankly. Chat. 5 years from now, do you think we're going to be talking about the DCU? Real. I'm being serious. Do you really think the DCU will survive to 5 years from now? Yeah. It's very possible that it will. Okay? But like dead ass, I'm not sure. I see a lot of ways this is going bad. And I think, again, it's like, is he in charge or not? You know? I think he's in charge. And I think he did a lot of things. In fact, I think Peacemaker is a huge part of what he did. I think his time, energy, bandwidth, literally, like this isn't figurative. Like, I'm talking about literally the guy that is the president of the studio spent his actual time, energy, and bandwidth trying to figure out a way that his silly ass Peacemaker show could fit into a master plan of import for this 100-year-old Hollywood studio that's going to get sold out for parts anyway. It's all a big fuck. I'm getting pissed. I'm going to end the stream. I'll see you guys on Monday. It's been real. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your weekend. I was muted? Thank God, because I actually got a little soft there and was like saying I'm sorry and shit. So I'm glad that shit was muted because I immediately regretted it. Fuck that! We're going hard as fuck on this motherfucking white spiky haired douchebag. All right, let's get into this shit. Yeah, I had a second thought. And the universe was like, don't worry, Josh, I got you. I muted that shit anyway. Woo! Fuck them! Fuck out of here. All right. Anyway, actually, I don't even need this. I don't need this screen for this segment. I just realized that we don't have anything to show you guys. I don't have anything to show you guys. All right, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the Peacemaker finale. Is the DCU cooked? Because the reality is, man, fans are turning on James Gunn after the finale of Peacemaker. That's what it is. Chat, have you seen this? Have you seen the negative reactions to Peacemaker? Throw a 1 into the chat if you have seen it. I've seen it. It's pretty wild. I was shocked. Delighted, but shocked, okay? So basically, I think the main reason, if I had to venture a guess as to why the main reason as to why people were disappointed in it, because here's the other thing. I did not watch this shit, okay? The reality is, chat, I was not disappointed by Peacemaker. Many of you guys were disappointed by Peacemaker. I was not disappointed by Peacemaker, okay? And the difference between us is I knew Peacemaker was going to be goobly glob bullshit and super James Gunn crazy, stupid, and not for me. So I didn't watch that shit. So I'm not disappointed in Peacemaker. Peacemaker did not personally disappoint me. I want that to be fucking known. However, as somebody that covers the space, as somebody that's pretty plugged in, we have to talk about this because it's crazy. I actually have never seen such a fast, harsh reaction to it. Again, you know, people are joking, people are being silly, but like you have actual Gunn fans being like, restore the Snyderverse and shit. Because apparently it was pretty much a nothing burger, you know? And I've seen it everywhere. I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen it on Instagram. I saw it on Reddit today as I was researching. I was like, damn, people are going hard on Gunn about the Peacemaker Season 2 finale. From what I understand, I think most of this is because he hyped it up, right? And I think he hyped it up in multiple ways, frankly. He hyped it up initially, remember, when Superman went to digital early. There was like this time period, it was like this little moment where Gunn was trying to say that they put Superman on digital early because of Peacemaker and because of how important Peacemaker is. So that was a thing. And people, you know, okay, all right, we're hyping up Peacemaker like that. Then, of course, he does the podcast. And he has like his own, you know, DC podcast thing. And he's doing like weekly recap episodes, which is fine. You know, all kinds of shows do that, regardless of their popularity level, right? So there'd be shows sometimes on, you know, different networks or whatever, and they do a little after show. It's fine. But it did feel a little ironic because the show was never charting on Nielsen. It's not like the first season of Peacemaker blew up. It was watched at the level of like Miss Marvel, right? It wasn't a big show. So it did feel a little weird that he was doing all these interviews. And the problem is, during those interviews, he would continue to hype up the Peacemaker show, going all the way to talking about how the last 3 episodes of Peacemaker had some of the most spoilery and exciting reveals that he had ever had, and he was keeping it so under wraps, and it was going to be so crazy. And fans ran with this. You know, there were rumors of like Blue Beetle showing up in this thing. You know, all kinds of crazy stuff like that. And from what I understand, the finale is basically a bunch of Gunn slop, a big nothing burger, just all kinds of weird James Gunn stuff, and then a crazy cliffhanger that potentially teases something really, really big, which, by the way, will not be explored in season 3 because there won't be a Peacemaker season 3, but instead will be explored in Man of Tomorrow. What is Man of Tomorrow? Man of Tomorrow is the James Gunn written and directed follow-up to the James Gunn written and directed Superman show, which bridges the James Gunn written and directed television show to the other James Gunn written and directed movie. Okay? So that, I think, is why a lot of people are upset about this finale. Okay, I think Gunn probably overpromised a little bit, underdelivered. I also just think like it's a Peacemaker show, but he's also trying to make Peacemaker like a thing. You know, Gunn has been in interviews talking about how Peacemaker's literally going to be in Man of Tomorrow, and that he's integral to the whole entire DCU. Well, as I said, right? Like, as I said before, I don't think, I don't think this is going to work. I think this is feeling too small. I feel like this is feeling too James Gunn's Band of Misfit Toys. And I actually clocked this a while ago. Like, I've been talking about this for a while, dude. Even the idea, because I remember there was going to be a Waller show too. There still might be. And I remember Gunn in the early days talking about Waller and talking about certain characters and all this stuff. And it's like, it was a soft reboot that's, you know, it's not a hard reboot, it's a soft reboot. And again, Gunn kind of makes it emotional, like in the early days of the whole thing. But it's like people, I thought, were completely in the right for questioning, James, are you literally just grabbing up all of your projects and figuring out a way to make them canon? Because, like, do I understand that from a human level? Yes. But that inherently makes the universe feel, again, small. It feels like James Gunn's little band of misfit toys. James Gunn personal pet projects that are now supposed to be the biggest thing at DC in the world. No. Like, that's fucking silly. Right? So, I don't know, man. I feel like I've called this. I feel like we're sort of going through the motions here with Gunn a little bit. And I think maybe what's happening, maybe what you're seeing happen out there, is a lot of different fans are realizing this. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of different fans are like, yo, this dude is actually doing some weird shit. Like, this dude is picking these little projects. Like, this doesn't feel as epic and dope as it should be. And so I think that is ultimately what it is. And again, like, dude, I feel like a broken record here, but at the same time, like, we do have to acknowledge that the idea of going from a Superman movie that frankly was like successful enough, but wasn't a smash hit. It's not like $1 billion movie. It's not like everybody's talking about Superman, this, that, second, and the third, right? We go from that into Peacemaker, which, like, I guess we'll see. The Nielsen charts are behind. Maybe there's some big viewership there. I don't really know. I don't think so. And even if there was, it kind of seems like that big ballooning viewership and the cascading viewership ends up feeling like disappointment, ends up feeling small. And then if we're really going to go from this into Lanterns, oh my God, they better hope Lanterns is fucking fire. And then Supergirl, again, a lot of concerns about Supergirl. Like, dude, I'm sorry, like a Lantern show, maybe if I didn't know it was going to be like terrestrial based and it's really like, you know, True Detective with Green Lanterns and shit like that. I love the Lanterns. That's not a Lantern show, really. Like, that's like, there's just a lot of reasons to be concerned about that. And I also think there's going to be barriers for normies. Like, are normies really that interested in comic books still, that they're going to check out the True Detective comic book show in James Gunn's universe? You know what I mean? I just don't know about that. So, like, you go from Lanterns into Supergirl, into Clayface, into Man of Tomorrow, another James Gunn written and directed movie. Like, guys, this does not feel epic and awesome and grand. This does not. And again, I think a lot of the criticisms that people had of Gunn very early on remain valid. And I think you're seeing those play out. You know, Gunn himself recently said, I understand Kevin a lot more now, you know? And I think the truth is, you know, you look at that little video he made a couple of years back, you look at the slate that he put up on the screen in that original meeting, you know, all the canceled projects, all of the delays, and frankly, like, just, you know, where's Brave and the Bold? Where's Paradise Lost? What do you mean we're doing Clayface and potentially doing Plastic Man and shit like that, right? Like, this does not feel like, oh my God, the new DC universe, holy shit, like, this is absolutely incredible. And I think Gunn is making Kevin Feige look really good, ultimately. And I think that that's really what it is. And I think that, I mean, look, maybe I'm wrong and they're going to figure this out, because of course they could do better. They have to do better. They should do better. But I actually think the more this goes on, if it continues like this, seriously, I'm not even kidding. If it continues like this, I don't see a future. I don't see a future. And I see a scenario in which we look at the DCU 5 years from now and we're like, wow, it just never got there. You know, like it just never got there. And it really never did what Marvel did. And it's just kind of meandering and it feels small. And like, obviously people like DC and there's still something there, but like this just didn't work. That's what I think we're headed towards. And like, look, at the end of the day, you might be like, yo, you just don't like Gunn and you just want to talk shit. Is there a little bit of that? Absolutely. I don't like him. And I do like talking shit. That's honest. You know what I mean? Like, authentically, I don't like this motherfucker. And authentically, I really like talking shit. You know what I mean? I get in front of this camera and this mic. I talk a lot of shit, like multiple times during the week. I absolutely love it. But don't get it twisted. Don't let that aspect of me and my perception stop you from seeing the point that I'm making. Because I do have a fucking point here. And it is actually accurate to say that this dude is fucking this up. He might not actually be the guy for this job. That's going to be determined, not by me, you know, by the market, by the next couple of years, by what happens. And it's not even me that's out there complaining about Peacemaker. I'm not even watching Peacemaker. I want to pull up a couple of things for you guys. Okay? Because I definitely want to know what you guys think about this. But I want to pull up a couple of things for you here, okay? So this is kind of interesting because I think this just shows, because people would be like, you know, people have been asking me a lot about Peacemaker. Probably just because I think it's like funny or whatever. And they're like, dude, you should watch Peacemaker. Why don't you watch Peacemaker? Blah, 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 right? Well, I'm going to tell you, like, this is why right here. This is from a GQ interview with James Gunn. It says, sure, Peacemaker has become the flagship TV show, though, the next chapter after Superman. And yet, it's as weird and specific as it's always been. Does that delight you as much as it delights me? And James Gunn's answer is, the show delights me. I really do whatever I want with Peacemaker. And I mean, in one respect, I do whatever I want with anything because I am able to make my own choices and I'm my own boss. But with Peacemaker, we really let it go. We take chances. We go to places where I think other people are afraid to go. We got a lot of pushback from various sources within the structure on this episode in particular. And we're like, let's not be bashful about this. Let's just do the story that we want to do, and I don't want to have to pull punches with it. Now, I think that's in reference to like the Earth X thing, but it shows you the mentality of like this guy. And honestly, honest to God, I want to make this point because I really like Superman. Okay? Really like that movie. Well, part of why I like it is because I think Gunn pulled back. He might have been pulled back by his bosses that he claims to not have. I think he was probably reined in a lot for Superman by various people, but also by his you know, his own self and understanding that his sensibilities weren't quite right for that. And that's part of why I like it. Peacemaker was always the opposite of that. It was always this. What he is describing here in this answer is what Peacemaker season 1 was. Okay? The rub and like where I take issue with all of this and where I think somebody should have stepped in is like, is this thing, this irreverent side project of this weirdo guy, is this really what we want to do to follow up Superman to like be the next part of the DCU? Is this really what we want to do? And maybe it is what they want to do. Maybe they don't see the problem with it or whatever. But for me, this has always been my problem with it. It's like, I'm actually not a big James Gunn guy. I don't love his sensibilities. I don't like his weird little quirky show. And I'm not pumped that a seemingly super significant piece of lore was put in it or teased in it. But then again, maybe it fucking wasn't, because it seems like everybody's mad at the finale of the show now because it didn't really set anything up. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic situation here with Mr. James Gunn. And so I wanted to bring this up and kind of give you my take on it, guys, because it is kind of an interesting situation. Anyways, let me ask you guys, what do you think? Any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns about Peacemaker? How bad do you think this reaction is? Like, real talk. Do you think that people will get over it? You think it's a momentary thing, or do you think this is like people are really mad about it? Maybe it's a little early to say. Probably a little early to say. That first sentence right there speaks volumes. This is James Gunn's getting his rocks off. The project seems to be made in an egotistical vein. Yeah, for sure. And I think all artists probably have an ego. There's nothing wrong with having an ego. But when you're doing commercial art, like you have to play ball. Like it can't be about your sensibilities, which again is like he did that for Superman. He didn't do it for Peacemaker. In some respects, this is fine, but I think we can just take a step back and probably say just objectively, maybe it wasn't the best use of time, resources, and energy. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. Like somebody should look at what's going on with the DCU and be like, hey, this is probably just not the best use of energy. Because, like, real talk, like, think about what the DC, like, if you were just saying, in general, chat, like, just walk with me on this. Now you got me really fucking yapping on this, but just hear me out. If you dead ass were like, hey, here's a dream scenario for starting the DCU. We'll announce it, the new, the fuck? I don't know what, I legitimately don't even know what just happened. Something fell. We're going to announce the new DCU, 10-year plan, a year before 4 different movies come out in the old universe, okay? And then we're going to make all of these announcements about chapters and projects and talk about how everything's connected, okay? And then we're going to have a lot of those projects not happen. We're not going to do Batman because we actually have another guy under contract for Batman. But don't worry because it's cool because we really like this Batman. And we'll explain to everybody that it's not our Batman. And honestly, it's going to be the actual comic book fans that get confused, not the normies. The normies are chill on that. It's the real fans that are the problem. And then we're going to do Superman, okay? And then we're going to follow up Superman into Peacemaker. And then we're going to follow Peacemaker into a Lantern show that's Earth-based, cheap budget, not going to show like Oa and shit like that. I mean, it might show Oa, but like, do you see what I mean? And then we're going to do a Supergirl movie. And then we're going to do a Clayface movie. And then we're going to have that other Batman that's not even our Batman, but that's going to happen. And then we're going to do a movie with Superman and Lex Luthor, like dead ass. I'm not like, I'm being a dick, but I'm trying to actually show you, like I'm trying to make a point here that I think just objectively speaking, like if you told somebody that's the way you wanted to start a cinematic universe, they'd be like, I don't think that's the best way to do it. Like, isn't that fair? Like, isn't that fair? And isn't it okay to criticize Gunn for maybe not using the resources, making the decisions, putting the things into place? Like, right? like, come on, man. Like, that's, I think it would be, I think we'd have a healthier level of discourse and potentially a much better DCU, frankly, if we all would just admit that that's actually what's going on. You know what I mean? And even Gunn fans are probably going to start admitting that relatively soon. Because the truth is, they're way more DC fans than they are Gunn fans. That's what it is. So anyway, sorry, I got like a distracted yap session on that, but I just, obviously it's something I've thought a lot about. It might be more jarring for me if the MCU hadn't already set the bar so low recently. That's actually fair. There's like a weird part of the story where like Gunn is getting off easy because Marvel fell off so hard. Can you imagine if this version of the DCU was going up against prime Phase 3 Marvel? Can you imagine how different things would be? Woo! In some ways, he's lucky. And you know what else? In some ways, he's lucky the entire fucking film industry's falling apart. He's never had a big movie outside of the Marvel shit. Not really. Dead ass. This dude might be getting all the fucking benefits and he's making millions of dollars failing upward. It's an incredible world. It's an incredible world that we live in, guys. It really is. You know? Anyway, any other thoughts, questions before we wrap this up here on Peacemaker? Listen to her. Wait, whoa, Justin, whoa, what's happening here? Holy cow, Justin's getting fired up on somebody in the chat. I don't even know what's going on. Clayface movie is already setting itself up for ridicule when it's not a box office success, and it has no Batman in it whatsoever. Yeah, dude, it's just like, I really think it's obvious, dude. Brother, these Gunn fans, I mean, what happens if Supergirl makes $300 million, guys? Like, what happens if people are like, wow, that Lantern show was kind of boring. Wow, Supergirl made $300 million. Like, I'm just telling you guys, my assessment of what is currently happening is like not great. And there was literally no reason to do this. Dude, this is why I think Peacemaker is such a fucking mistake. I think even Gunn fans would admit the DC would literally be in a better spot today, this hour, this minute, this fucking instant, if Peacemaker Season 2 never happened. Consider that. Consider that the DCU, in this instant, at this very moment, would be in a better position if Peacemaker Season 2 literally never happened. So, like, again, where are the adults in the room over at Warner Brothers? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, this is silly to me. It's silly to me that this is happening. But maybe it's par for the course for the current Hollywood thing. Shalami Leaner says, I had so much hope and excitement for the DCU, but now I don't know what to feel. I didn't really like Superman, and I hated Peacemaker. Well, I'd probably feel disappointed and hateful. If Superman disappointed you, and you hated Peacemaker, and you're asking me how to feel, I would say you already know how to feel. You feel hated? Hateful? Like you hate everything? And you feel disappointed. And frankly, sometimes when I get disappointed, I fucking hate it. Chilling in the Basement says, Gunn talked so much about how he was going to be different from Marvel. Now he's going heavy with connective tissue and trying to make fetch happen with Peacemaker. Nerd Avengers for Life, Basement Crew, Unite. Yeah, and you know what else, too? You know what else? You just reminded me of this, too. This dude talks so much. He really needs to shut up. And I think I'm very curious as to what he says about this exact situation because people are so vocal about Peacemaker. And the thing is, we know he's so chronically online. Like, we've seen this guy, like, we've seen him comment on things that we know he could not find unless he was searching his name on the Twitter search bar. Various times throughout history, we have seen how chronically online and obsessed with the screen James Gunn is. So you know for sure that he's seeing all of the claps backs today. You know for sure he is seeing all of the disappointment. And I'm watching real close to see how does he respond to this? How does he react to this? Which, by the way, I will give him credit if he shuts the fuck up. 100%. I'll give him a lot of credit if he just ducks, keeps his head down, and keeps it moving. Because that's the right move. The problem is the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. Like, why do you guys think I'm going to crash out on stream? Okay, like let's just break it down to a logical place. Why is it believed that Josh from Den of Nerds will probably crash out on his next live stream? Why is that a belief that's out there? Because I have crashed out many a time on many a stream. The best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. Hello? Triangle Stove, interesting name, says, I think Gunn is the embodiment of arrogance, in my opinion. You'd expect he tones it down after the box office of Superman was fine, but nope. Nerds will be confused about two Batman, not the casuals. Yeah. I mean, he just can't help himself, and I really do think he needs to stop. If he stopped right now, like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, if he stopped right now or somebody stepped in to like alter the behavior or whatever. Because like frankly, like that's what a manager is. You manage the talent, right? I mean, he's the president, but he's been talent his whole life. He's never been administrative, right? So you need somebody to maybe watch him. Maybe that's what Safran is. I'm not sure. Regardless, I think if he stopped right now, if he committed to making really good shit and also brought more people in, like frankly, and I'm glad that you brought this up, Triangle Stove, because I've almost forgot to mention this. We're 24 minutes into this segment. I almost forgot to mention this. So if you got to the end of this on the Clips channel, here's like another point that I have. This is a juicy one. I don't think he should make another movie. I don't think he should make Man of Tomorrow. I think it's silly. Okay, and David Colin, thanks for the 5, man. I think it is silly that the universe is in the state that it's in. We can't get Batman for years. Superman couldn't even make as much as Man of Steel. And this guy's just going to go do another movie? No, the system is broken. The foundation is not set. Like, yo. Like, no, dude, don't make another movie. Hire talent, get in your writer's room, make sure that you're going to execute properly, because at the end of the day, like what we're talking about right now, we're talking about like, oh shit, it's a little bit sloppy to like, Superman, was a little bit basic, didn't do well internationally. It obviously should have been different as a commercial product to engage those audiences better. And that's like a fucking fiduciary responsibility of Warner Brothers, right? They have a fucking responsibility to consider that fact. So you literally have Superman unable to engage an international audience. Major changes need to be made to the entire slate to make sure that doesn't happen again. And then you have Peacemaker, which can't even break into Nielsen top 10 charts and is now getting this incredibly negative, overwhelming response from fans for its finale. The house is burning. This guy can't just go make another fucking movie and be like, I'm just going to make the next part of the story. Like, no, dude. You need to fix this. You need to be the president. You need to be getting other talent, bringing in other people, and crafting a big thing. Again, he's going to end up making Kevin Feige look really good in the next couple of years. So that's kind of like the last part of the take, man. I know. We yapped a lot about it. We yapped a lot about it. But those are my thoughts, man. This Peacemaker clapback, I think it's pretty bad. I think it's actually pretty bad. And I think the DCU is frankly in trouble. That's what I think. Shalami Leaner says with a 5 spot, Arrowverse did Earth X 10 times better than Peacemaker did. Yeah, you know what else is funny about that too? Oh man, I wish I would have said this during the segment, but this is actually true. Lean the fuck in on this, man. Greg Berlanti should have got James Gunn's job. I'm not even kidding, dude. I'm dead ass. I'm 150% on that one. Greg Berlanti, who, by the way, got a massive fucking contract for Warner Brothers and was potentially building some stuff up like that, including the original Lantern show, which Gunn tried to, like, pretend he didn't fucking cancel and take over. But originally there was going to be a Greg Berlanti, Alan Scott. Like, but anyway, Greg Berlanti was the guy behind the Arrowverse. Greg Berlanti was a actual pioneer of shared DC storytelling on CW that I think did more for DC and was more beloved by fans than a lot of shit that Gunn has done. Yep. That's what it is, man. I'm dead ass. I really do think that. And I really like Greg Berlanti, man. I've been thinking about some of those because, like, look, obviously the CW stuff gets a little bit, I mean, I lost it. You know, I couldn't really engage with it after a while. I think it was like Flash season 5 or 6 or whatever starts to lose me. Arrow gets a little goobly glob. But frankly, the first couple of seasons of Arrow and that first season of Flash, it's fucking brilliant, dude. The first season of the Flash show is some of the best comic book television I've ever seen. It is absolutely incredible. And, you know, I thought Legends of Tomorrow and some of the stuff he was cooking there was really cool. I like the Kingdom Come episode. Seriously, dude, their crisis events and shit. And they actually got the Kevin Costner, they actually not Kevin Costner, Kevin Conroy. They actually got him as KC Batman? Are you fucking kidding me? I'm telling you guys, we would be in a better position now if Greg Berlanti had been elevated as opposed to Gunn. I'm not even kidding. That's just my opinion. But, yeah, that's what I feel. You wanted crappy DC? God damn it, Carl. Cool124 says, Lucasfilm just needs a young director that knows George's storytelling, and there's one people are paying attention to, and he's friends with Ahmed Best. I don't know what you're getting at there, brother. I mean, sure, that would help, but under the direction of Kathy, I just don't know. I don't know if that's going to make a big difference, to be honest with you. Yeah. I just found out that, oh my God. One of Gunn's 3 projects so far in the DCU. Yeah, Creature. You know what? I fucking left off Creature Commandos because I thought it was so stupid and irrelevant. It doesn't even enter my brain like that, but that's true. I totally forgot about that. We give this motherfucker a pass. And he did this fucking goofy-ass Creature Commando show that nobody watched. I'm telling you, this is not the use of resource. This isn't what a person that's actually looking forward or looking out for the company. That's not what that person does. Fuck. I think he did bad. I think he did real bad. I think this one's real bad. All right, should we talk about Spider-Man and X-Men? Shit that's kind of cool. Should we talk about some shit that's actually cool? I was going to talk about New Frontier and Darkseid, but honestly, dude, I don't even care. I don't even care. Okay. I think we should talk about Spider-Mans. That's what I think. I think it's time to talk about some Spider-Mans. In fact, let me pull up Tom Holland. Tom Holland. He's Spider-Man. And he does everything a Spider can. Oh, Tom Holland. Here it is. Found it. All right, here we go. So, interesting news with regards to Spider-Man, Doomsday, Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire. Drama! There's fucking drama out there, chat. Chat, do you know about the drama? Wonder Man tease released. Guys, don't worry. We can wait on the Wonder Man trailer. I hear you in chat. Here, we'll do a little experiment, okay? If you think we can probably wait on the Wonder Man trailer because it wasn't actually that cool and like who gives a shit about that show, throw a 1 into the chat. If you think we should immediately change and watch Wonder Man because it was actually crazy and like it's like, wow, this is really something, then throw a 2 into the chat and we can see the trailer. Yeah, a lot of 1s in the chat. Good enough for me. Good enough for me. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Okay, so let's keep going here. Tom Holland, Spider-Man drama. Seriously, Wonder Man can wait, dude. Fuck that show. Tom Holland, Spider-Man. News coming out from Daniel RPK. Hot off the presses. Fresh news from the slop scooper, Daniel RPK. Tom Holland, Spider-Man is not in Avengers Doomsday currently. Guys, what the fuck does that mean, currently? Why would he say currently? Well, I'll tell you why. But is expected to have a huge role in Avengers Secret Wars. So I ask you, chat. I ask you. What do you make of this? Is this shocking? Is this surprising? What the hell is going on? Tom Holland Spider-Man is reportedly not in Avengers Doomsday currently, but is expected to have a huge role in Avengers Secret Wars. What do you think, chat? What do you think? I'll give you my take. What do you think? I think chat is going slow this morning. They just don't film his scenes for Doomsday yet. Not surprised for caring. Why everyone keeps saying Spider-Man in Doomsday. Okay, so let me explain what's going on here. This is actually kind of interesting. Man, Daniel is a shyster, okay? And I'm not trying to be super rude about it. But again, like, we's got the calls, it's like we sees it. And Daniel is a big old shyster, which becomes super obvious if you look at all the Discord leaks of all the leaks that have recently come out here. But why am I saying specifically about this here? Let's break down the language. Let's break down the lexicon of Daniel RPK. So he says, Tom Holland's Spider-Man is reportedly not in Avengers Doomsday currently. Well, what's interesting about that is a couple of months ago, Daniel reported that Tom Holland was not filming on Spider-Man, but there was a stunt double that was filming Spider-Man on that set. Okay, now what Daniel reported months ago was that basically they were filming all of Tom Holland's Spider-Man stuff for Doomsday with a body double. And that he would film a couple of scenes eventually for Doomsday, probably in the additional photography phase. And they would insert him into the film that way, which is, by the way, very similar to what they did for Civil War. If you guys didn't know this, almost right up until that movie came out, they did not finalize the deal with Sony. So they shot a lot of that movie with a body double for Spider-Man. And that's actually why Black Panther is in the Spider-Man movie. Because Marvel thought there was a chance that Sony would, like, renege on this deal and then eliminate the possibility of Spider-Man being in the film. And they were like, oh, shit, but we need something big. If Sony pulls Spider-Man out and we don't actually finalize this deal, oh, my God, we're going to need a draw. So that's why Black Panther was put into the film. And they shot a whole bunch of stuff without Tom Holland because they couldn't, right? Obviously, you can't shoot until he's under contract. So they shot with a body double. And they shot a ton of stuff with Spider-Man, including a lot of stuff on the action scene, and they weren't even sure if they were going to be able to use it. So Daniel just reported a couple of months ago that Tom Holland's Spider-Man was not filming on Doomsday, but that he would be filming on Doomsday, and that there was a stunt double that was filming on the set of Doomsday currently. So, if Daniel technically says Tom Holland's Spider-Man is reportedly not in Avengers Doomsday currently, is he lying? He's technically not lying, but he's also not really saying anything new. Do you see what I'm saying here? Do you see what I'm saying? However, the back half of the statement actually is new. Because Daniel says, but Tom Holland is expected to have a huge role in Avengers Secret Wars. Okay. So, given the context of everything we think we know about Tom Holland's Spider-Man, which let's fill in some gaps for you here. Obviously, the next Tom Holland Spider-Man movie has been in the works for a long time. There were versions of this movie that were going to be with Daredevil and Kingpin, and there was a version of this film that was going to come out more closely to Daredevil Born Again and really be more connected to that show. Going to be more street level. There was a version of this movie that was then going to be on Battleworld. This movie has been on a whiteboard at Marvel Studios for years, and the movies around it keep changing. Kang Dynasty into Doomsday is just one example, but there's been other things too, and like Marvel's whole thing is changing. At one time when the Kang Dynasty was a thing, My Time to Shine Hello reported that Tom Holland was going to be the lead of that movie, and I think that's true, or at least it was true at the time. At the time, I think Tom Holland was going to be the lead of Kang Dynasty. And I think it was going to be a huge part of it because, frankly, all the other Avengers kind of suck ass and nobody really cares about them. So Tom Holland's Spider-Man is the most popular of the current 616 Avengers, right? So I think that was going to be a thing. And remember, Tom Holland himself has been in interviews talking about how they don't have a full script and that the Marvel system is interesting because they have to fit this film into this machine. And so it has to be the right story, et cetera, and there's a lot of stuff they want to change, right? So I think, given the fact that we had that reporting, and there was this whole cycle when, like, I remember when Jeff Snyder was reporting that Tom Holland was not in Doomsday because Spider-Man Brand New Day was going to take place at the same time. Do you guys remember that? Do you remember that? That was out there, that he was essentially not in that film because his story was going to take place in his movie, and it happened at the same time. There were other people like Alex Perez that said it might have been a prequel, even though it came out afterwards. And so maybe Tom Holland's Spider-Man was not in Doomsday because of something we would learn about in the prequel. And I say all of that to say, very good reporters have indicated that there was accurate information coming out from Marvel and Sony that talked about how they were willing to change this, that they were being dynamic, that they were willing to take Tom Holland out of Doomsday, right? But again, because of the reporting from Daniel just a couple of months ago, I think the reality of the situation, and I want to be clear, this next part is speculation. I'm speculating here, but I'm speculating based on all of this evidence. I think the truth is Tom Holland will be in Doomsday, but he's not going to be a big part of the story. He will be a big part of Secret Wars. He will likely, therefore, be either a big part of the third act of Doomsday or potentially even a cameo post-credit scene kind of a thing, something that's really to set up for Secret Wars. And I think they are actually going to do that, basically to set up Tom Holland's Spider-Man as one of the characters that survives the end of the multiverse and is in Doom's universe on Battleworld, aware of the prior universe and trying to unite these other characters. Otherwise, he's there in the multiversal Avengers, kind of doing the thing with Loki. I don't think so. I think that's more of a Tobey Spider-Man thing, which, by the way, you know, like a lot of these other scoopers, like it's kind of funny. Like My Time to Shine has just started saying, oh, there is a Spider-Man in Doomsday, but it's not Tom Holland. And I told you guys just a couple of weeks ago, one of the best sources I know told me Tobey is in Doomsday and it's connected to the TVA plot, which is really interesting. So obviously you're going to get Tobey Spider-Man in Doomsday. I think he's a relatively large part of Doomsday and another large part of Secret Wars. But as it stands, if Tom Holland Spider-Man is in Doomsday, it's a small role. He's likely to have a massive role in Secret Wars. And I think his movie, which will come out right before Doomsday, will possibly explain why he's not in Doomsday. So let me just tell you as one example, maybe Tom Holland Spider-Man dies in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Maybe he dies, and therefore, maybe a large portion of the Doomsday movie, he's actually dead. Until something happens and then he comes back, maybe at the end of the film. So just an interesting little possibility there. But brand new reporting out from Daniel RPK. I'm just trying to fill in the gaps for you, let you understand what I think is actually going on. Daniel does this stuff a lot. He repurposes and repackages information and like phrases it in a weird way that's like technically, I guess that could be true. I'm not saying he doesn't have accurate information, and he is still one of the best, but we have to be able to parse out, like, okay, what is he actually saying here? What has he said about this in the past? Like, what's actually going on here? And that's what's actually going on. So what do you guys think, chat? Chat, what do you think? But he already died once. Did he? Did he die? Peter deserves it. I agree. When did he die? Huh? Who brought him back to life? He got blipped. Yeah, but is that really dying? That's like not existing anymore. I don't know if that's dying, actually. I guess it's the same effect, really, but yeah. I reckon Brand New Day takes place the same time as Doomsday. It's possible, yeah. I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. True. Do you still think Tobey is in Doomsday? Yes, I do, yeah. But did you die, though? Yeah. Maybe not. It was at the time. I cried. Hey, yeah, but that's because you're emotional, Carl, you know? To the audience is pretty much dying. Yep, fair. Technical death. Okay, fine. You got me on that one, chat. You got me on that one, all right? For all practical purposes, yes, he died. What the fuck? Okay, all right. Oh my gosh. Did you see people talking about James Gunn directing the next live-action One Piece season Might just be a rumor, though. Yeah, I'm going to say that's probably a rumor, Jonathan Gray, but thank you. Andrew will gather the Dragon Balls on Namek to revive Tom again because the New York Dragon Balls can't revive him again. I actually love that, bro. I hope they go for it. Let's go. Let's go. You've been snorting hard lately, fam? You good? I have no idea what you're talking about, but I feel absolutely fucking incredible. Probably like too good. I feel like all of my bad feelings have become good feelings. Like I'm rising higher and higher and there's no end or crash in sight. So I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm feeling fucking incredible. It's all the booger sugar. What? Keep Gunn away from One Piece. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Any Invincible news at Comic-Con? I actually think we're going to get Invincible news at Comic-Con, which, by the way, chat, they did a closed alpha test sign up for the Invincible game. Look it up. You can sign up for it. I signed up for it. I'm hoping I get into that shit, man. Oh, I want to play that Invincible game bad. And yeah, I think there's going to be a big panel where they talk about Invincible, probably like the game a little bit, the show. Yeah. Deadpool was a cameo at the Peacemaker finale. Really? Maybe I'll watch it. Andrew and Toby secretly leading Secret Wars or Doomsday would be peak, especially if they keep it a secret until release. Fair. Yeah, fair. I think we're going to get some cooking like that, yeah. Gunn will turn One Piece into one depression hex. Nah. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not exactly following you on that, and yet I agree, yeah. What's Warhammer going to do at Comic-Con? Warhammer usually hits different conventions than like the big Comic-Cons, although I think once the show comes out, it will probably enter that space as well. Warhammer tends to do like their own big gaming tournaments or gaming conventions. So something like the Nova Open or LVO or, stuff like that. But because it's really more on the tabletop gaming side of things. Yeah. How big of a role do you think Guardians Thor will play in Doomsday? I think Thor will play a very big role. Yeah. I'm not sure about the Guardians, actually. I think Star-Lord might have a significant role. We'll see. Gunn should take over the Warhammer universe. My God. What are your thoughts on the RDJ pic where he was wearing the shirt with the Iron Man mask split in half? Yeah, it's interesting for sure. And then a lot of people looked at that one makeup photo where he's got the scar down his face. There could be something there. Absolutely, yeah. Wonder Man got pushed to 2026. Are you serious? Did it really? God, just get it over with. Just release it today. All the episodes today, so we can just forget about it. There usually is a tabletop gaming section at New York Comic Con. Is there really? I've been there many times. I don't remember seeing them. What are you dressing Luke and Leia like for Halloween? It's actually a good question. I'm not sure. I think Liam wants to be Mario. So maybe I could make them like Koopas or something. Get them little turtle shells. Yeah. Watch Wonder Man now? Oh, God. Should I watch the Wonder Man trailer? Oh, God. Should I get this pulled up? Chat, am I going to like this or am I going to not like this? Chat? Is this it? This 1 minute thing? Am I going to like this or am I going to not like this? I'm like already mad. Fuck. All right, Wonder Man teaser trailer is officially here. Here's the thing. I wonder, man, why did they make this fucking show? I'm also really not down with Disney Plus Marvel shows. They've been not great, and I'm really kind of down about it. So I guess we'll watch this trailer for Wonder Man. Maybe it'll be so cool that I'll change my mind and want to watch this show. Let's see what happens.
The entertainment world is stunned today when internationally celebrated and reclusive filmmaker Von Kovacs sprung out of retirement to sign on for his first franchise film and remake of Wonder Man. Mr. Von Kovac, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I know your question is, why one more superhero film? Yeah? Everyone is tired of superheroes. Why go see them in the cinema? Wonder Man spoke to me on a deep level. There is an opportunity to shock audiences. Holy shit. To reimagine a whole genre of storytelling.
Have you given any thought about casting?
I don't know, man. I feel like this whole, like, we're going to be self-referential about how the genre's dying is like the fucking band at the end of the Titanic. Like, is this really making us all feel comfortable? Are we going to have a good time in these lifeboats? I don't think so. I don't like this. Okay, I guess I hope some people enjoy it, and maybe there'll be something better. I don't know what to fucking say, man. Chat, what do you think about this shit? Like, man, I just wish. Oh shit, I wish I was in the room. Like, I wish I was in the room. I wish I was the guy that they had to show this to before they put it out on the internet. Because I'd be like, abso-fucking-lutely not. Like, get the fuck out of here. We're Batgirling this shit. Hand me a Diet Coke because I'm about to get on my David Zaslav. This shit will never see the light of day. And in fact, you're going to get spanked. I'm going to actually spank you. You're taking some licks. I'm breaking a switch. Like, you're going to feel when the next time you sit your ass on an object, you will be reminded of the shame of this moment. But maybe I'm just overreacting. Sashin says, nah, bump that. Who enjoyed that trailer? Just playing. Oh, Jesus Christ. How many of you guys, maybe I'm wrong. Did you guys enjoy the trailer? Y'all enjoy that trailer? Marvel saved? Did they push it into 2026? Did they push it into 2026? I did. Ban him! No, I'm just kidding. You're good. You're good. It's okay. Different strokes, different folks, man, you know. It's not like I fell in love with Marvel way before Marvel Studios, and although I'm grateful for everything they've done for me, unfortunately, they are turning Marvel into Marvel Studios at the detriment of what Marvel has the possibility to be. What a time to be alive, you know? What a time to be alive. Somebody convince me that this isn't the worst fucking thing ever. I'm looping out. I'm crashing out. Somebody help me. Throw me a lifeline. Why is this going to be okay? Why is this going to be okay? It can't be the case. It can't be the case that we have existential crisis after existential crisis. That's not being a fan. That cannot be. That's not. Looks interesting, but why didn't they show anything? It was 20 seconds. What the fuck, dude? It can't be interesting and barely show you anything. I mean, I guess technically it could. Fine, Kaylin. C. Black says, Robert Meyer Burnett said he heard Wonder Man is really good. Oh. Well, there you go. Let's look at the bright side. They might be adapting Time Runs Out in Doomsday. That's true. That's cool. Yeah. My name is Doom. This could be a good take on the zeitgeist. Sure. It wasn't the worst thing. Daredevil was. LOL. No way it could be worse than that shit. All right. Thoughts on the Russo brothers maybe announcing 3 Avengers movies instead of 2 in December on trailer release? Wonder Man trailer was cheeks. I don't think so, bud. And in fact, we're going to talk a little bit about a story here in a second that means that that's probably not going to happen. Okay. Any other thoughts on Wonder Man, chat? Okay. Any other thoughts on Wonder Man? What are we thinking here? Wonder Man. Did they really push it into 2026? That's actually important to let people know if they did. And I should also do a really toxic tweet about this. You know, can't let that engagement go to waste here. So here we go. Let's do the Homelander in the theater. Okay, beautiful. Boom. No business being made. Scrap it. Yeah, I agree. I like the actor they chose, at least. Yeah, he's a great actor. Would love to see him as, like, you know, Black Panther. Or Blue Marvel. Or Bishop. Or Luke Cage. Or Brother Voodoo. Or, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what about race bent Wonder Man? Fuck that! Like, real talk, man. Like, when are these, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just like a normie thing. Maybe it's like, hey, at the end of the day, these are theater kids that are just trying to have a career and it's whatever. But, like, man, I kind of miss the fucking 80s energy where, like, actors were so into the discourse of their shit that they didn't even want to lose a fight in the movies. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know what it's like, you know, dude, I'd be like, give me Bishop, give me like a cool fucking Marvel Black character. Like, give me a fucking badass dude. Like, let me be that guy, you know? Wonder Man. God, it just feels like everything wrong with, like, all the thinking of the studio. It's literally like an antithesis of all the worst kind of thinking. And that's not to say that it, like, and by the way, I'm not trying to be, like, so fucking cruel that, like, I'm like, yo, fuck Daniel Creighton, fuck everybody that involved. No, like, I bet Daniel found a way to try to, like, got inspired and found a way to make a piece of art that he thought was really fucking cool. But of course, there's commercial considerations here. And the problem is the commercial considerations are translating to me to feel like goobly glob stupid shit. Like, I just don't, this isn't doing anything for me, dude. Like, holy shit. But I don't know. I mean, sure, maybe it's not the end of the world. Maybe it's fine. I think it's a waste of his talents. I think it's a waste of resources at Marvel Studios. You don't like the character of Wonder Man? Wonder Man's all right. Like, Wonder Man's fine. He has some interesting moments. You know, he's got some interesting stuff with, like, Vision and Wanda and all of that. But, like, guys, this isn't even that character. It's literally not. You know? So, I don't know. Elijah says, let's say if we use the Marvel formula of muscle guys and hot babes in costumes kicking butt, what different topics would you explore to keep it spicy? I'm not sure what you mean. You know, I'll go on I think I know the spirit of what you're getting at here. And it actually, like, yo, you just let me know if I'm accurately answering what you're actually getting at here. Maybe not, but it's actually kind of reminds me of the way that television used to be. We were watching Supernatural last night, and one of my favorite episodes. Y'all remember the episode where Dean Winchester bangs the angel? Obviously, more than that happens in it, but it's like, come on, man. It's the episode where Dean Winchester bangs the angel, okay? And it's this really, like, crazy sex scene where literally you're playing, like, I'm ready for love, you know? And it's like, it's so what it is, okay? And I had this thought where nowadays I feel like our shows are either completely sanitized or basically softcore porn. So nowadays, a lot of people watch shows like Love Island or Bridgerton or whatever, and it's basically just like, it's borderline porn. Like, it's so focused on the sexuality that that's like the draw, right? Whereas back in the day, you'd have shows that were just shows, dude. It wasn't the like, hey, you don't want to watch this with your parents show. You know what I mean? It was just a fucking show. But yeah, it had sexuality. And yes, it would occasionally have some payoff, cathartic sex scenes with certain characters. And I think the difference is like nowadays, it feels like Hollywood wants to do one or the other. They either want to be so perverse and lean in so hard to the sexuality that it becomes the draw. There's like a dirtiness to it. It's like almost like a kink or some shit. And then on the other side, they're just normal storytelling is so sanitized that it feels fake and weird and not real. So what I suggest for Marvel Studios is do not take the perspective of we're gonna spice this shit up. It's not, because then you become like The Boys, or you become like something else. It's really as simple as, hey, you're doing X-Men, right? You're gonna have a bunch of chicks, you're gonna have a bunch of dudes. Add a little bit of sexual tension between the characters. Maybe have the females dress as though they want to look attractive, and that's kind of it. And that's gonna feel so radically different. You know what I mean? Like it's. So I don't know. I don't know that the answer is like make it all spicy. Don't make it Bridgerton. Although, to be fair, a Marvel version of Bridgerton could be very successful, actually. But it's more like just return to form of the natural elements of storytelling. Desire and sexuality used to just be a natural element of a character. And you would just be like, okay, yeah, of course this eventually would happen or whatever, right? I meant superhero action over and over again. Tickets get sale, less ticket sales, the stories that are making it interesting. What story topics do you want to explore to keep people buying tickets? I don't think that's the answer either. It's not about the story topics, although you definitely want it to be interesting. But I think by and large, what sells today is spectacle. And I think you want to sell off of spectacle, and you want to sell big, spectacular experiences. And I think there's actually like a way to do that. Like, I still think there's a way to do that moving forward. Hollywood almost has a over obsession with story. Like, I'm being serious, and that's going to sound so like a lot of people would like roll their eyes at that, but I'm actually not. There is an ignorance that presents itself as people that want to be overly sophisticated. Like, I remember I had this professor when I was in college, and I was in a design class, and I remember we had this assignment where we were supposed to come up with like a bunch of different designs, like make like 100 different designs. And I think the idea of the assignment was like to stretch us past what we would normally conceive of and like get into that weird space of like, what is design really? And I'm on my 80th design. What is design now? To me, 80 times in a row. But the point is, he looked over my work and he said, these scream of a person that is trying so hard to be a genius. And I was trying to do all this like really intricate shit. And I wanted to show how smart I was and, that I had this angle on it. And it's like, that's actually not design. Genius design is subtle. It is not the same thing to say that design must be sophisticated to know that it's very good. Right? So like I think Hollywood, frankly, in a lot of different ways, like even if you look at some of the movies they're propagating as like the next big thing in Hollywood, I think even they are overly focused on like, we need a story that's so interesting and crazy that people want to talk about it. I don't even think that's what it is. So like, yeah, I mean, I could continue. I could yap about this. I'll probably say it like 3 different ways. But the point I'm making is like, no, you're thinking about it wrong, dude. Unfortunately, Hollywood's thinking a lot like you. And it's not, you're missing the forest for the trees. There is a reason why Transformers wants to bring back Megan Fox. Yeah, Megan Fox and Michael Bay, right? And dude, they got so much shit. Like they got so much shit at the time, and even in the subsequent years after it, et cetera, et cetera. People would talk so much shit on, Bay, and look back at even the Megan Fox stuff and say it was like derivative Gooner bait or whatever, all this sort of stuff. And it's like, no, he's actually just painting with the strokes, the paints that people like. You know what I mean? Like, it's just sexy, awesome, powerful, you know, like stakes and triumphant of the human spirit. And yes, there's desire and sexuality and all of that's caked into it, you know? He was ahead of his time. And a lot of these Hollywood people nowadays, like, they want to tell this, like, really sophisticated, like, oh, I have this really interesting angle or this really intellectual point that I want to make, this, that, second, and the third. I'm telling you, man, like, I think a lot of people are just over that. You know? But anyway, who knows? Maybe, and by the way, we just got 16 minutes out of that segment for this trailer. Tell me I can't yap. God damn, I might be the goat of yapping. I might actually be the goat of yapping. I don't know. Am I the goat of yapping, chat? Exactly. Sexy can be badass too. It doesn't always have to be androgynous to look badass. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Your job is to tap? Oh shit, my bad. Let's do that then. You used to be yapping, but now we tapping. This is way easier. This is so much better. Oh. Oh. Hell yeah. Tap that. It's not the first time I heard that. My queen, Scarlett Johansson, didn't save Black Widow. Well, Black Widow had a lot of things going on, right? Of course, the streaming, go right to streaming bullshit. You know, the old pandy and all that, you know. A lot of things going on there. All right, should we talk about the X-Men, guys? I think we need to talk about the X-Men. Ooh, first official look at Daredevil's new suit in Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Oh, these double Ds be looking good, baby. Oh, shit. Chat, hide your wives. Hide your kids. Because the double Ds are out, and I'm going to put them on screen for you. This shit is crazy. Look at this. Look at these glorious double Ds, baby. And this is the Entertainment Weekly exclusive first look at Charlie Cox and his double Ds and the suit for Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Now, we've seen this in a lot of like leaked set photos, etc., etc. But we're getting our first actual look here of the double Ds, and they are supple. Chat, thoughts, baby. Are we gonna forgive Daredevil? Are we gonna forgive Charlie Cox? Is it time? Is it time to be like, you know, look, you let your girlfriend lecture you a little bit too much, and frankly, it hurt. It hurt me in my nipples. But this suit looks really good. I really like the double Ds, and you did do all those good things in the old Daredevil show, so we forgive you. Or how about this? How about this, chat? Yeah. Shub has a good point here. I might forgive, but I will never forget. Okay. Are there fake Ds? Damn, you think these double Ds be fake? How do they feel, though? If they feel real, does it really matter? Okay. So the point is, chat, maybe this is what it is. Maybe we're open to forgiving Charlie. Maybe that's what it is. It's like this. Charlie, come here. Let me whisper in your ear. Tell you something you'd like to hear. We really didn't like that last season, man. Like, we really didn't like it. Really not chill. But we are open to forgiving you because your double Ds be looking great. So, you know, keep the double Ds out. Don't let your girlfriend lecture you. And let's have a nice little season 2. Huh, chat? Huh? Let's have a nice little season 2, huh? Hey, let's have a nice little season 2, huh? Chat? I don't know, Charlie. They seem pretty mad still, bud. Will you apologize if Wonder Man is good? What do I... The Bavarian president in Wonder Man, so it has to be peak? I thought that was him. You don't like the character Wonder Man. No, I do like that. Will you apologize? Apologize for what? What should I apologize for? What did I do? That was bad. Javier Mendez with a 10 spot says, for comics, you hear the Ultimate Endgame. Also, Ultimate Spider-Man is really great. Jonathan Hickman is carrying with most of his stuff right now. Yeah, so you know what's funny? I have the whole Ultimate run, dude. I told my local comic shop, I said, I want to pull every single Ultimate book before it happened, before the things started. I said, I want every single issue. And I've been doing that. I've been buying them, but I'm way behind on reading them. So I have like a stack like this of books I have to read. And I'm hoping that I get to it before the actual thing ends, because otherwise I'm going to have so much shit to read getting ready for the finale. But yeah, no, the Ultimate stuff is great. I've been supporting it, and I really like Jonathan Hickman, so happy that it's done well for them. Are there any rumors of Cox in Doomsday or Secret Wars? Not that I've heard, but maybe a little something, yeah. I'm late AF. Did we shit on Gunn already? Yes, we did, Nefarious Aquarius. But here's the thing. I was actually on Gunn's side. Chat really turned on him after the Peacemaker finale. I think they overreacted, frankly. And so I actually chose today to defend Gunn and defend his honor. And so a lot of the stream, when you go back to it or when you watch the clips, is actually chat being really rude and like really mad about mother-loving Peacemaker and Gunn. But I was defending him, yeah, because I'm that good of a guy. Yeah. Okay, shall we talk a little X-Men, ladies and gentlemen? Shall we talk a little X-Men? Yes. Okay, this one's actually kind of a big deal. It's crazy. So, X-Men reboot film will reportedly release in theaters May 5th, 2028. This is coming from Jeff Snyder, the In-Snyder himself. I'm going to read right from that part of the newsletter because I pay for Jeff Snyder's newsletter. So check this out. Before I continue, oh wait, here we go. Yes, speaking of X-Men franchise, I'm told that Marvel will soon announce a release date for the new movie from Thunderbolts director Jake Schreier. Right now, Disney is holding 3 2028 dates for Marvel movies: February 18th, May 5th, and November 10th. And I revealed on today's podcast of the Hot Mic that X-Men will arrive on May 5th. 2028. That'll be the 20th anniversary of the MCU, which launched in May 2008 with Jon Favreau's Iron Man. If Avengers Secret Wars, due in December 2027, is meant to mark the end of this chapter of the MCU, the X-Men movie is supposed to represent a new beginning. And Disney has high hopes for the superhero film, which will introduce the next generation of mutants. Wow. Okay, so we'll leave it there. That's the official report from Jeff and the details from his newsletter. Now, let me do my fucking thing, okay? Now, let me give you even more insight and yap about what we know about this, because this does answer a couple of questions. It potentially answers a first and very important question of whether or not there will be an additional Secret Wars movie. Now, right now, there are still plenty of possibilities as far as how this all goes. I think Marvel still technically, and Disney, of course, has dates that they can move around in 2027. But for a long time, there was this question of a Marvel movie that was on the calendar for 2027. It was a summer movie. It was coming out like what would now be 6 months before Secret Wars, which will come out at the end of 2027. And a lot of people thought that could be Doctor Strange 3, Planet Hulk, World War Hulk, Avengers vs. X-Men, Eternity Wars, so many different things that movie could be. Shang-Chi too. Like, so many people thought, okay, obviously there's a big story here with the multiversal end and Secret Wars and all of that. So we're going to need to tell more of this story. And that's just something we've all thought. Like, I thought for a long time, Doc Strange 3 for sure would need to happen before Secret Wars. Well, just the other week, there was a report that The Simpsons 2, sequel to the old Simpsons movie, would be releasing in that July 2027 Disney-held date, which again was previously thought to be potentially a third Avengers movie. That really threw a lot of cold water on whether or not we would get another Avengers movie. And then a little story popped up, and this came out from a couple of different scoopers, but there was a report that there would be a very important Marvel movie releasing in May of 2028 that would be basically a movie celebrating 20 years of Marvel Studios. Now, when that story broke, a lot of people said, okay, well, that has to be the third Avengers movie. That has to be the secret third Avengers film. That has to be filling in the gaps. That's going to like be the actual Secret Wars Part 2 that many people have speculated about for years and years and years. Well, due to this new reporting from Jeff Snyder, it appears that's not the case. It appears this is an X-Men movie, and not just an X-Men movie. It's the X-Men reboot film. It's what they've been casting for. It's what they've had a writer for over a year. It's the film that Jake Schreier is going to do, the one he's probably prepping for right now. It's a super big deal. Now, this is actually really cool for another reason. Okay, another reason. 20-year anniversary of Marvel Studios. Being an X-Men movie is a full circle moment for Kevin Feige, who started his entire career of producing movies on the Bryan Singer X-Men movie from 2000. It's a full circle moment. And 20 years later from the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Marvel Studios and Iron Man, Kevin will now return to the franchise that he first entered the producing space for. And I think that's just cool. But it also should show you how important X-Men is to Kevin Feige, okay? Obviously, this is something that he's been working on for a long time. I would argue, by the way, chat, do you remember, oh, this is actually cool. I just thought of this in the moment, and I think there's at least a few of you in chat that are going to really appreciate me bringing up this point. Do you remember all of the stories from back in 2019 and 2020 that said Kevin wasn't going to use the X-Men for like 5 years? And do you remember all of the reporting that like, oh, actually they have a 5-year plan without the X-Men, and then they're eventually going to bring the X-Men in? Well, now, considering what we know now, when you look back to all those stories then, isn't it obvious that the reason Kevin was doing this was because he wanted X-Men to be the 20th anniversary film? And you can even take it further and say that it was probably the case that Kevin knew Secret Wars into X-Men was going to be the big thing for the 20th anniversary of Marvel and for what he wanted to do next, right? Doesn't this all seem a little bit more understandable now? Fascinating. So anyway, I feel very strongly that this X-Men movie is going to be a very, very big deal for Marvel. And I'm going to take it one step further here, okay? I'm going to take it one step further here. I think this will be the movie that first introduces us to the new MCU, the MCU reset. And I would expect that we won't just meet the new X-Men, but we're going to meet potentially the new Iron Man, the new Steve Rogers, the new pick your character. And I think this movie, especially coming out of Secret Wars, is going to be like our first look at what actually happened after Secret Wars what the new universe actually looks like, and therefore you're double dipping on the draw. You see, it's not just X-Men in the MCU. After Battleworld goes away, this movie will be like, what the fuck even is the MCU now? Right? And so you sort of add in all of that intrigue, all of that interest and speculation. I think it's going to be very fun. And I'm actually really glad that Schreier is on that. I'm glad that they're taking the time that they are taking to craft it. And I think it's going to be a very, very big deal. And so to go from Secret Wars, because like a lot of people, I saw some people saying online, right, that, oh man, maybe this is too fast. You know, like maybe this is too much. Like to go from Secret Wars right into X-Men like this is maybe a little bit too crazy. And then if they have a February movie too, like that's really fast too. And that could potentially be Blade or something, right? But I would tell you, I think this is a brilliant idea. I think Secret Wars is actually going to be very exciting. Doomsday, there's some question marks. And you could, like, I could see Doomsday going away, where a lot of the audience and the conversation around Doomsday after it comes out is something like, hey, that was cool, but it was held back by the last 3 to 4 years of Marvel and the adherence to all these different characters and stories, right? I could see that being the case. Secret Wars, however, feels very free and open, and I think Secret Wars will be a very big hit, and I think it's going to fly off of the wings of its own ambition. It's going to be so... It is not going to be beholden to what Marvel Studios has done over the past couple of years, right? So I think Secret Wars is going to be a big tonal... I think it's going to be good. To go from that right into X-Men in the new universe is a great, great plan. And I really think if done correctly, this could be a perfect way to just literally feel like Marvel is not necessarily back, but like this new Marvel is really engaging and people are genuinely really interested. And like, we're going to want to see what the X-Men story is, but really what the entire Marvel story is for these next 10 years. That's what they have to do, right? And I can see the pieces. I can sort of see some evidence for like how this was potentially planned years and years and years ago. I'm excited, man. I'm actually thinking that this could work. And so that's the report, guys. That's the report, and then some speculation added in there. It looks like the 20th anniversary Marvel Cinematic Universe movie will be the X-Men reboot, and I'm actually excited about that. I think that's great. What do you think, chat? Let's see here. John Bow says, Gunn will regret not scrapping the dumbass Peacemaker universe in the remake. The fact that Peacemaker Superman 2 makes me way less excited. Yeah, I feel the same, but we're talking about the X-Men now, so... Thanks, bud. Elijah says with the test about Marvel is trying to spice things up. Tried depression with Thunderbolts, fair. Hard meta commentary with Wonder Man, trying to figure out something that works. So I was wondering what topics you would try. Yeah, I mean, I would say this. Number one, I would say, and I know it's hard. I mean, I think you can actually understand this, but it is kind of hard to just like sit with this point. Thunderbolts is still a movie that was literally brought out on stage in like, what, 2019? So although it just came out, Thunderbolt's problems are at the conception level in a lot of ways. And those problems came out of a culture that was prevalent at the company years ago. So what I'm saying is like still valid. I think even Thunderbolts had a lot of fresh paint, and there were a lot of things about it that I think do show a change. Ultimately, still in its conception, came out of a bad philosophy, right? Now, what would I do? I mean, I would say go back to comics, pick the most exciting and crazy ones, but really like what I think you really need is you need a passionate person that's going to tell news stories, that's going to like legitimately cook. Okay. And like what I'm talking about is like in the comics, when you have something like a Jonathan Hickman that makes something like the Ultimates universe, and that resonates with people, and people are like, yo, this is actually like really interesting, and this new twist on an old lemon people are really enjoying, and oh, a 36-year-old Peter Parker that was never bitten by the spider gets bitten in his mid-30s, that's kind of interesting. I think it's going to take ideas like that. I don't have the ideas, you know what I mean? Like I can sit here and brainstorm them. I'm not going to. But my answer to your question is they need somebody that's going to like cook and come up with great ideas because they love the characters and they're passionate about how those characters come together. But I guess short of that, just use the best ones from the comics, which should seem like that's a no-brainer because that's actually what happened in the comics was the best rose to the top, the cream rose to the top, and some incredible stories were told over 75 years. So why wouldn't you like look at that, right? So that's my answer. Sasha says DD season 2 connects to brand new day, says the trades. Yeah, obviously, via Punisher. The question is, does it connect more than that? I would say yes. I think Fisk as mayor will still probably play somewhat of a role in the Spider-Man movie. They're saying that maybe Fisk isn't in the movie. Maybe he is, though. Maybe they figured it out. I don't know. Ooh. Marvel should take place in the 90s. Solves the Magneto problem. Yeah, there's a... That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea, yeah. Yes. What else do you think about these X-Men here? I wish for all the slop from Phase 4 never released. We went straight into Fantastic Four and X-Men. Yep, same. Mahershala was perfect for Blade. But now he's almost starting to age out. Oh, no! Well, Blade is technically hundreds of years old, isn't he? Because Sony gonna Sony, Marvel gonna Marvel. Oh, no! New X-Men will be shown at the end of Secret Wars after Reed. And oh, maybe, yeah. Maybe even sooner. Wouldn't that be interesting? Yeah. I wish, but there was contracts deals. Wait, what? Do you think that once the reset happens, it'll just revert the Prime Universe before Kang and everything would just be normal? I think that's what they're going to say it is, but... So, actually, no. I actually don't think that's what it is. I think it's like... As it's going to take like the canon we know from the Infinity Saga and like wedge it with that old canon. I actually think that's going to be a key distinction because remember, they don't want to reboot. They're calling it a reset. And from what I understand, like they will kill off some characters and maybe they'll recast some characters, but they're going to keep a lot of the same events. So like the Battle of New York happened, Sokovia happened, the blip happened. Like I think all of these things happened. Some things didn't happen though, you know? And it'll be interesting to see, like, how do they navigate that? But that's my understanding of it. Did y'all see Blade get bodied in Marvel Zombies? No, I didn't watch it. Do you think James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender in Doomsday? I don't think so, no. Who do you think will be in the rebooted X-Men roster? I think it's going to be pretty classic, man, you know? I think you'll have a Gambit. I think you'll have Cyclops, Jean, maybe Kitty Pryde, Emma Frost, Colossus. I actually don't think Wolverine's going to be a big part of it because he's going to be maybe doing some Alpha Flight stuff. So yeah, those ones. Beast, maybe, you know, like the X-Men 97 crew, basically. The real test for Marvel will not be the soft reset, but the departure of Feige. That will certainly be a test. Absolutely. I agree with that, yeah. Okay, but when can we talk about SW? What's SW? Secret Wars? Is that what you're talking about? What you talking about, brother? Hey, brother, what you talking about, huh? I think this is huge news, actually. I think this is a super big deal. Star Wars? We'll talk about Star Wars on Monday for Nerd Theory. I love that word, nincompoop. That's a funny word, man. I should call you guys nincompoops. Nincompoops. What character send-offs are you hoping for in the next two movies? Character send-offs. Haven't really thought about that. I mean, I guess Loki probably get an official send-off probably. Maybe Steve Rogers, like that version of Steve Rogers. I don't know. Miss Marvel. I don't even want Miss Marvel to get a send-off. I don't even think Miss Marvel deserves to have a send-off. You know what I mean? So no, I don't need that. Black Panther 3 gets released February, according to Jeff as well. Oh, that could make sense. You know what else? Black Panther 3 is actually a really brilliant movie to do the reboot through as well. That could be really interesting. Hey, that's not a bad lineup, too, especially if we have an actual male T'Challa. Black Panther into X-Men. That's a strong start to 2028, man. They could get back on track. They could get back on track with that, yeah. Phase 7 predictions. I mean, I think they're going cosmic. I think they're going to go maybe Annihilus. Yeah. Could introduce Charles via video call with T'Challa, maybe. Storm in Black Panther 3, probably, yeah. Although I heard Ryan Reynolds wants Storm. I heard Ryan Reynolds wants the new MCU Storm in the next Deadpool thing. Duncan Egg trailer was dope. What'd you guys think of that Duncan Egg trailer? All right, well, I guess let's end the X-Men bit here, and then let's talk a little bit about Duncan Egg, okay? Let's end this. What did you guys think of Duncan Egg, man? I thought it was okay. Like, it seems fine. I don't know. Do you know, there's a part of me that questions this show because, like, I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of my criticism of what Game of Thrones ended up becoming the show was that it basically just became people walking or riding on horses and talking in rooms. And there was even a meme, like I remember even South Park was starting to get in on this, like the dragons and the zombies, they're coming. The dragons and the zombies, they're coming eventually. It's going to be so cool. And like Game of Thrones had this reputation of like not doing the thing and being really boring. This show feels to me like they stripped out all the magic, dragons, dope shit, and they just want to, you know, have a fun little adventure with Duncan the Tall. And I know the stories that George wrote are really cool and people really like those, but is this going to be like awe-inspiring, awesome television? I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Chevy says, I think Russo pick is a hint at them starting to write Secret Wars metal. Fence kind of spells wars at the bottom. 100% that's what it is. I knew that's what it was. I didn't want to admit it, but since you figured it out, I'll admit it. Yeah, that's what it is. It's going to be great. You think so, Kalisto? What am I getting wrong then? What am I missing? Why should I be excited about this shit? Huh? It doesn't have to be. So as long as it's fun and good, I can gather on the TV on Sunday nights again and be happy. That's all I want from it. Fair. Fair, yeah. Fair. Reynolds needs to retire. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But like, dude, audiences change. Things change. You need to adjust. Like, that's all. Hello. I need the Nova series, bro. I don't know about Nova. I mean, I can see a version of Nova that would be absolutely fucking incredible. And then I can see a version of Nova that's like, really? 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 I will be happy. What should I have for lunch, boys? What should I have for lunch, man? I want to have a good lunch. I want to play a little video games in the afternoon. I might go to the Warhammer store with the boy. Man, I love taking my son to the Warhammer store. Hey, if you're a dad out there, I'll tell you, going to the Warhammer store with your son, it's a good vibe, man. It's a good vibe. Euros? Chipotle. Rivals. Skate? Are you still on that skate? Is it pretty fun? I might play a little Rivals. Yeah, I might play some Mouse and Key Rivals. I was playing a Warhammer game too. I was playing a little Space Hulk. It's fun. It's just very basic, dude. It's like a 90s, probably even 80s. No, it's probably 90s. Action shooter game. Just like super basic. Go here, defend point. Go here, do this, destroy this, you know. But I do like it just because I love Warhammer so much, and it's a Dark Angels game. So I get in there and I'll play like an hour and be like, yo, like this is dope, the Dark Angels. That main movie is X-Men and Secret Wars wrap-up for sure. I think so. Yeah, I think so. Did you hear Jamaican Duel of the Fates? 3 months, 900 views. It vibes. No, but I'll check it out. That sounds really cool. Sounds like a typical Warhammer game. You don't say that. It actually did make me appreciate Space Marine 2 a lot. It's the little things. It's like the design space of Space Marine really makes you feel like an Astartes. You're like, oh my God, like everything has inertia, the sound and the weight of everything. Like I feel like a fucking Space Marine. This game, you zip around. There's no weight. There's no like, you feel like you're playing GoldenEye or something, you know? Yeah, no, it really did. It made me appreciate Space Marine. Again, design and game design is subtle. And I think there was probably, like, you know those really fast Twitch games? You ever play Quake or Unreal Tournament? There was a time where, like, all shooters were basically that, you know? And to be fair, Halo was a game that actually changed this up a bit because Halo is way less fast Twitch than a lot of these games. Yeah. Some people think Halo's slow. And to be honest with you, Halo 2 does feel a little slow. Halo took forever to kill somebody. Yeah, it has a very high TTK or time to kill, but that's also a part of the design space because what you want in a good Halo battle is you want to give the person the chance to turn the fight around. The high TTK means that skilled players that take a little bit of damage can turn it around and kill the enemy. You know what I mean? So it gives that chance to high skill gap moves, which is great. Which is great. Have you ever gotten into chess? Not really, man. I had an uncle that was really good at chess, and he taught me a little bit back in the day, but not really, no. What are your thoughts on all the Mando Grogu hate I've been seeing online? They don't like Grogu. Yeah, Star Wars is cooked. They cooked themselves. It's absolutely terrible what they've done to that brand. So I think Mando Grogu is going to underperform like crazy, and I think it's going to shock some people. I wonder if it'll shock us here. But yeah, I've seen a lot of hate for Mando Grogu, but I see like hate and apathy. It's not even like I see hate and a bunch of love. I see like pure hate, and then I see some people being like, You know what I mean? Buffer Overrun says, going to Taco Truck for lunch. I love Space Hulk. Had it on the 3DO along with Way of the Warrior. Nice, man. I mean, I like it for what it is. You know, I just appreciate where the design spaces has gone to. C Black says, normies I know are excited for Doomsday, but a lot of them don't know RDJ is the villain. I didn't spoil it. We live in a bubble. Well, he's I don't think that even the movie will fully reveal that he's the villain until the end. So we'll see. But Marvel right now is, I think what I can't decide is if Marvel's going to say he's the villain in the marketing and then it's more complicated, or they're going to say he's not the villain and then it's more complicated. But I feel like they're doing one or the other. It would have been cool if we got it a couple of years ago. We haven't even had a Mando show for almost 3 years now. Yeah, it's bad. It's pretty bad. Yeah, it's pretty bad, huh? I mean, like I said, even coming back to Star Wars has been a little shocking to me, coming back to Nerd Theory. It has been a little shocking to me just how far gone that franchise is. I mean, I barely talk about Star Wars, dude. You know what I mean? Like literally barely. And then we get into this thing and I'm just like, wow, I can't believe how far it has gone. Wow. Mr. Sinister for the X-Men movie? Yeah, that's out there pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much been established that Sinister's going to be the X-Men villain. Yeah, Nerd Theory has been great. I've been having a good time. I think we've been cooking. I think we're going to come up with more ideas and try some more fun stuff. But yeah, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. All right, guys. Well, we're going to get out of here soon. Any last minute comments, questions, anything else you guys want to talk about before we get on out of here? Any cool plans this weekend, man? I'm going to go get some lunch. Trying to hit the gym a bunch this weekend. I'm trying to get back in shape. Do you have any more lore segments in mind for Nerd Theory? I have a whole bunch of plans for Nerd Theory, yeah. Whole bunch of plans. Just in general, I'm trying to just come up with more plans for content just in general. So I'm in a really good headspace lately. I know it's a bit frustrating maybe that I don't stream as much on Tuesdays and Thursdays anymore, but I'm putting good time and energy into trying to come up with actual good content. I would like to make good content, you know? And maybe some of that is like just getting on here and yapping with you guys and being silly and fun. And sure, I'm good at that. But I also think do a little planning, you know, do a little brainstorming, come up with some high concept stuff, man. Like, dude, I'll tell you guys an idea I had for me and Theory, okay? Just to give you an example of what I've been thinking about. I think Theory and I need to do a show or a Nerd Theory episode that's live in person. And we have 4 different contestants. One of them is a fake Star Wars fan. And 3 of them are lifelong Star Wars fans. And Theory and I will have to ask questions to these different fans to try to figure out which one of them is the fake Star Wars fan. And I think, honestly, that would be so fun. Like, you've seen concepts like this before. Yeah, like a Nerd Theory game show. Yeah. Yeah, just try it. Just trying a little something different, man. Like, every once in a while, we try a little something different. You know? Like, can we spot the fake Star Wars fan? Yeah. Ooh, we could do speed dating for Theory. Yo, what if we did speed dating for Theory? Like, we go to it, because they did speed dating at Star Wars Celebration before. Like, speed dating for Theory, okay? And then, like, you know, imagine, like, these ladies, like, sitting down. And they're like, oh, my God, you're that guy that made that toxic video. Fuck yeah! And then, you know, shot on Theory, and he's like, you know, and then we go to the next one. And they're like, I can't believe you said that about women in Star Wars. You know? I'm telling you guys, we have the ability to cook. We have the ability to make some incredible content. John Cross says, do you want to react to my X-Men theory? Not right now, only because I'm so hungry. But if you let me know on Monday, I'll do it Monday, okay? It's Mayim. Dude, I'm telling you, we could have some serious fun, guys. Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah. All right, everybody. Well, we're going to get out of here for today. I really appreciate the support, though. Thank you, guys. A lot of cool things that we're planning, a lot of cool things that I'm working on. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I'm balancing it. Trying to get Unity back on track, trying to balance making content, being dad, being a husband. I appreciate you guys, though. Thank you so much. God, I am pretty stuffy today. I'm not going to lie. The comments make sense. Do you get recognized in public? Not really. If I go to a Comic-Con, I'll get recognized a lot. Because if you think about it, like that's where the most people that would probably have come across my content would be at. So at Comic-Cons, I get noticed a lot. I have been recognized out in public before, just at regular places. Like there was actually a dude at my gym in Erie that's a big Nerd Theory fan, actually, which is so random, right? But most of the time, no. Most of the time, no. It's actually one of the best things about being a YouTuber is you can be like famous in a really small niche space, but then like for the rest of the world, nobody knows who the fuck you are. So you have anonymity still. So yeah, it's pretty chill. It's pretty chill, actually. Yeah. Channing Tatum's comment on Doomsday makes me excited about the movie. Oh, I see what you did there. Thank you, brother. And thank you guys for being here just in general. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support, man. We're going to keep cooking. We're going to keep doing our thing. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Oh man, oh man. Oh. Another happy landing, another incredible week in the books here at Nerd Avengers Tower. My God, how does he do it? Day in, day out. Unbelievable. The cooking, the jokes, firing from the hip, Mad Lib, brainstorm, ad lib, whose line is it anyway type energy. I'm talking about myself. That's right. I'm really good at this. And I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you noticed. I'm glad that you're here. Explain the Tom Cruise thing. I just think it's funny. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. I just work here. Okay? Do me a favor, Nerd Avengers. You get out there and have a fan-fucking-tastic weekend. I'll see you on Monday, and we'll shatter something that's glass or I don't know. I'll see you later. Hey, do me a favor on your way out, though. Open up your third eye. Yeah, open up the third eye. And wash out your stinky butthole.